Hey, today I'm sharing what I prioritize in the 3 hours that I have to work each day. So, if you're a busy business owner too, and you're curious about the behind the scenes of how someone else's workday flows, this one is for you. And if you like this episode, definitely make sure to subscribe because next up, I'm going to be sharing my afternoons and evening routine with y'all. Okay, so welcome. I'm Alexandra Cavill. I'm a professional certified coach and the founder of Grace-Based Christian Coaching. At GSCC, we are all about prioritizing. I partner with ambitious women who love what they do, but they feel overwhelmed and are looking for practical strategies to live with life and work with excellence while honoring their faith and what matters most. Okay, so let's talk about what I prioritize in the small 3 hours that I have to work each day as a female Christian business owner. So, earlier last episode, I spoke about what my mornings looked like. So, listen to that previous episode if you want the scoop on that. But when I get home after dropping the girls off to preschool, I'll start my best days. They start with Bible reading. Those are the best days. And on those days where you feel like you don't have the time to do it, that's probably when you need to do it most. If you can't do it first thing, then the evening is a good time for that. We'll share more on that later. But honestly, those are going to be your most productive mornings, right? When we put the first things first. One more add as we think about the mornings, you guys. When I was in the corporate world, something that I did that just gave me this burst of energy, if you maybe are in the corporate, but you really wish you weren't, or you're trying to side hustle it until you can get the business off the ground to leave. One thing that I did was to look at my personal goals every single morning. And that just gave me such perspective, just this burst of energy that changed everything and honestly helped me perform so much better in the day job too. Okay, so another thing that I'm actually doing now that I'm running my business full time, I'm working on personally is recentering and the fact of like, okay, I am here to serve God and to support people and experiencing unbelievable transformations. So I think about like, how is God involved? How can He be involved? How can He lead my day? Who is it that I'm serving? What am I here to support? Who am I here to serve? And in what capacity? What do they need? Who are they? Where are they now? Where do they want to go? Um, if you guys want, I could do a whole this is so much. Like, I could do a whole series on this in and of itself. But if you hear all of that and you're like, "Oh my gosh, if I had my day with that content so clearly laid out and want to get grounded in it, like reach out, gracebasechristiancoaching.com and look for the clarity call. There's an application where you can apply to get connected and see if this is a good fit for you and your goals. And then we go from there. So recentering, that's going to help you get grounded in what you're even about, why this matters, who this matters for, so that when the hard things come up, which they will, you know what you're doing, you're focused. Okay, so next thing is like, what does the workday actually look like? So I like to batch client days and then behind the scenes work days. So for 3 half days a week, I'll meet with clients. So I tend to use these days, of course, for the coaching sessions, but then there's also prep that I'll do before sessions as well. So to make this as productive as possible, think about what the client wants to talk about, what would be powerful coming into that. Are there specific resources, powerful coaching questions, stories that could be helpful to add to this session? Like, y'all, it's not just that not only do I give my clients a full 60 minutes each session, but there's so much that happens before and after to make this experience wildly powerful. So that's a piece of it. And then after the session too, sometimes there are follow-up notes for encouragement, accountability, follow-up resources, things like that. So that's what those days typically look like. And then the behind the scenes days, it's about creating content. We're all over the place in the best way right now, so that we can be visible and serve so many people who just desire to follow God more intentionally. So YouTube content, podcast content, newsletter, blog post, social media, YouTube shorts, reels, those sorts of things. So content creation, networking conversations, outreach conversations. Right now I'm looking to appear as a guest on podcasts. So if you have a podcast yourself or you know someone that would love to have me on to talk about topics like goal setting and faith and distraction and doubt, all of those things, like let's talk. I would love to serve in that way. Strategize for the business. Do education. One of, if you've heard of the Strengths Finder, one of my top strengths is learner. So I'm always on a mission to grow, to be sanctified, and this just helps serve my clients, serve y'all really, really well. So that's sort of what those behind the scenes days look like. We could absolutely dig more into that if you ever have questions about that too. And then usually what I'll do is use one half day a week or like little pockets here and there for life because that's important too, right? Like this is what it's all about. So what this looks like is maybe attending a mom's group, a Bible study, doctor's appointments, hair appointments, grabbing lunch with someone, like, shopping for something for our family, those sorts of things. So those are what those days look like. And then like once it's time to work, like where do I do it? That might be something y'all are interested in. And here's what I'll say is that I love so much to work outside of the house on the non-client days. So maybe that looks like going to a coffee shop, going to a library, just different creative ideas to get out and about. But if I'm spending the day at home, which I always do for client sessions, I'd heard this idea about doing what you can to bring in your five senses to your space. And so that can look like I personally love like more instrumental classical music to stay focused. So it can look like that. It can look like essential oils or a candle, right? The scent, having a clean space, one that just you're not worried about or distracted by, but it invites you and it welcomes you in. And then, of course, all of the drinks. I've got my water here, you guys. I've got my tea today. I've got my caffeine, like all of the different things, like that is it. But like right now, my office space, I've got a Christmas tree. My husband was so kind. He's the one who thought about that to say, let's put a Christmas tree in your office, an inspiration board. So back in the day, a little fun fact, one of my favorite things to do was to grab all of these different magazines and cut out things that inspired me or lit me up and put them together in a collage. And I've still got like little mementos and things like that that I've collected over the years. Now we're doing a little color scheme of blue and some neutral shades, some gray space, Christian coaching branding, if you will, but just having that up and to look at. Your space matters. It really, really does. And then at the end of the day, what I like to do is take a peek at what's on deck for tomorrow. That helps me feel, okay, what's coming up? What do I have to look forward to? What needs to be prepared for? And then also, we'll talk about afternoons in the next episode, but prep for when I get back. So we had three under three in our family with three precious girls, and it's awesome. And it's wonderful. And it's also wild sometimes. So between the craziness of pickup and the emotion and all of that can come, it's like you come back sometimes at the end of that. I get three young children down for a nap, unpack everything, get everything reorganized, and set us up for the afternoon. So what I like to do before I leave to go grab the girls is to be crystal clear. Nap time isn't promised. So if I do have space, like what is it that is my purpose that I'm getting into and spending time on? So that's something else. And then having a heart of gratitude for what did happen. So I could almost guarantee, we're all alike in this, and that more days than not, there are still items at the end of our to-do list. And for high achievers, that can be frustrating, draining, and defeating. So think about like, man, I did do these things today. Like this did happen. Here's how it's going to move things forward. And just having that heart of thanksgiving and gratitude is going to be really, really life-giving for you and the people you interact with. And then, of course, lunch. So, what I like to do, I've heard this idea this past year in terms of eating what is going to nourish your body. So, for me, that's really helped me make better, good choices, right? Like, is this fueling my body or is this draining? And as a business owner, mom of three very young kids, like, this is crucial. Physical energy is crucial. So, just making good choices for what's going to nourish you and fuel you. And I don't know, like, either. I find myself most mornings eating early, like 11, or if that window is missed, it's not until after we get home and down for naps, clean up, and at two, honestly, it's like right about 2 o'clock. So it can look very, very different. Or even sometimes prepping the food so that I can hit the ground running and eat it when I get back home, or even have it along in the car too. And then when I go to grab the girls, I'll listen to a business podcast on the way in to just sort of close and bookend the day from that portion, and just really, really steward that time well. So that's a bit what my 3 hours each morning look like as a business owner and mom of three. And then we're going to talk afternoons next time and evenings. So don't forget, if you love this content, subscribe. If you really, really love it, leave a review. This helps more people find the podcast. This is honestly, from a creator perspective, encouraging for me too, to know you are listening, you do appreciate it, and here's what is especially meaningful to you. This content's also available on YouTube now, you guys. This podcast, I want to say, we launched maybe back in 2020. And for the first several years, it was podcast only. But if you want to consume this via video, we're at Grace Based Christian Coaching on YouTube, so you can do that. And, it's just better with other people. So screenshot yourself listening or watching it, share it with a friend, and or put it online. Like that means so much to get the word out. And other people need it, right? Like we need this message, this encouragement, and to do it all grounded in God and our Savior, to glorify and honor Him and like link together and do this as sisters in Christ. So that's what we have for today. I cannot wait to see you next time. We're going to talk about evening and afternoon routines. See you later.